Hey y'all, how you doing? This is Blair Cinta, and this is Sticks and Wires. All right, today I'm not really sure what to call this one today. We're gonna look at getting this very kind of odd, mid-rangey, distorted bass drum sound. And basically, I got it because I had to match a demo sound for a rock tune. Okay, so why cover this if it's so strange? Three reasons. One, I think it's cool. I think it's a pretty cool sound. On top of that, two, I think it's a pretty useful sound even outside of rock, even outside of this particular tune. Like a hip hop tune, I can hear this being super useful, a very unique sound, or like, kind of lo fi beats, things like that. And three, it's just good practice. When somebody sends you a weird demo and they're like, I like this drum sound, can you get it? I really dove into this thing. A particular producer that I'm kind of newly working for, and I really wanted to, we wouldn't have necessarily done it in my room had it not been for the pandemic. And if you're watching us in the past, it's 2020, yay. And so I did this back in April of 2020, right when the pandemic started. And, we were originally going to go to another room and just have me play, and they would have engineered and everything. So I was in my room. I really wanted to, knock this out of the park and match the sound for them because this is what they put in the demo. All right, without further ado, let me give you a little bit of... this band is called Asher, Ashrr, and there's one single out so far. Possibly by the time this video comes out, there'll be another single out. Might even be this tune, I'm not sure. This will eventually be out, though. So let me just give you the demo, and the drum sound is built into the demo. There was no stems, just one thing, and then I had to go from there. So it's definitely unique, right? Like Slant is slipping on me. Get back here. It's definitely a unique sound. Pretty dry, definitely distorted, kind of lo-fi, kind of weird. So first challenge, there's no stems. So I had to just, analyze the drum sound on my own. It's all built in with the vocals and the guitars and things like that. Let me show you what I came up with here. Let's start with the bass drum. How about that? I did this on my regular DW Jazz Series drum. So it's a 22 by 16 kick, 22 by 14, 16 by 22. I think it's 16 by 22. Kick out, FET mic. Standard sound right here. Oh, okay. So this doesn't have as much low end as my normal kick out sound would have, and you'll notice that I'm really taking off the top end, but I'm bumping this 1.7 hertz like a lot by 10 dB, right? So here's part of the beginning of the strange sound because we don't really want a lot of low end out of this kick. We just want mid range. Okay, and then, with the compression, I'm, it's a bit of a quick attack, and I'm taking a little bit of that transient off and hanging on to it a little bit. So we're getting this kind of blop, blop thing. but you notice how much by pumping this one kind of unusual frequency that we would never do on an out kick mic, because that's not low end, right? All right, so that's the kind of beginning basis of it. Next, there's a kick in here. Okay, pretty standard kick in sound. A little lower in the mix. Here's the kick out and kick in together. All right, so if you're listening, hopefully with headphones or something, you'll notice that this is not like it's not a huge bass drum sound. And with the kick in, we're almost getting like a programmed sound. So it sounds like a weird, not undesirable sample, almost like a Lindrum in a way, where there's a lot of attack, not necessarily a lot of low end, but it's a bass drum. Okay, next I wanted some distortion. So what I did was I multed the kick out here. And yep, you can see that. So the EQ is pretty much the same. It's exactly the same, actually. Yeah, when we go back and forth between the two plugins, they're exactly the same. I'm gating this one, but I've now added a decapitator. So let's do it without the decapitator, and then I'll turn the decapitator on. All right, pretty nasty sound. Let's do all the kicks, all three kicks. Here we go. All right, so it is what it is, right? Kind of weird, but I can definitely hear this as a very like a hip hop sound. If you're going for something like non-organic, but you want to be the real drummer on something, I think this could be a very cool sound. I also feel like I hear this maybe on something like maybe Alabama Shakes type tunes where drums are getting more and more modified, morphed, and sometimes you're hearing things where there's not a ton of low end, but you're getting the oomph from the kick. So add some mid-range to your out kick, have an inside kick with some attack, and then duplicate your outside kick and put some distortion on it. So, and find that mid-range tone that works on your bass drum. Okay, it's not necessarily 1.6 kilohertz. Maybe it is, but it might be different in your room or your drum. Okay. Again, gating, of course, so it feels more like a sample. And you can also hear in this that we're getting in this mic, we're getting some bleed as we compress it and stuff from the other kit. So we're getting not from the other kit. We're getting other drums. So we're getting snare and things like that in there. So I'll slowly start to add some things in. Delete the. Okay, so I'll mute the distorted channel on and off. All right, we're also almost getting like a hand clap effect, right, with a snare. And one of the advantages of this is we haven't even added another mic, right? We're just distorting one of our original mics that's already there, all right? So just screw around, all right? Hi-hat. These are very bright hi-hats. These are my Istanbul Agop Exist power hats, I think. They're 15 inches. They're kind of thin, but they're very bright. Actually, I shouldn't say they're thin. They're thick, but they're bright. All right, so let's A-B these drums that you've just heard with the original demo here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is on the demo, I'm gonna really high pass everything to try to cut some of these drums out, and now you will hear it with my drums. All right, pretty cool, I think. The overheads and the rooms are in here. You can see they're ducked fairly low. Mono overhead, -12. Pretty standard. Stereo overhead. Ducked pretty low. Rooms. You know, probably no rooms on this there, but there's an option, all right? All right, there's a tom section down here. All right, so you'll notice that the toms are distorting. Again, this is all through that one mic. They're being caught by this one mic. You know, I think this is a brief video, this one today, but really this is the point. Don't be afraid to duplicate one of your mics and just mess with it and see how it affects the whole track. This is definitely a reoccurring theme in Sticks and Wires, how one mic can really change the character of any of your drums. I love the idea of this sound. I love the idea of taking this distorted bass drum, bringing out some mid-range in your bass drums. You know, if you change these hi-hats and change the snare to, you know, anything, darker hi-hats, high and bright snare, I mean, you're going to get something really interesting. Low fat snare, even lower than this and fatter. Maybe some really big, you know, 17-inch dark hi-hats. You're going to get some crazy lo-fi-ness. So yeah, theme of everything. Explore. Lo-fi, distorted bass drum can be a cool thing. All right, enjoy.